Mr. Sood, thanks once again for doing this. Since we started off with this quest for what happens in 2040, how do we prepare for that in terms of the crime scenario? What is your vision for the city itself in 2040? How do you see this city evolving, and how do you think we prepare for that?
Well, my vision for Bangalore city is that it should be a safe city where people can walk freely 24/7. I am not a firm believer of bringing the city to close at 11 p.m. or 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. I feel one should feel safe to travel any point of time during 24 hours. The second vision is that probably people would understand the importance of walking, cycling, and not really looking for private transport or even public transport. The city should have infrastructure which is more friendly for people to walk, and again walking is only possible when the city is safe. Having said that, I feel that the nature of safety concerns in 2040 will be totally different. The traditional crime will come down drastically, or even if it doesn't come down, it may not increase, for the simple reason that traditional crime where the criminal and accused has physical proximity has become the cost in terms of risk has increased, or to say that the cost and the risk of committing crime in the virtual space has come down drastically. So more and more criminals are going to get into virtual space. It could be cyber cheating, hacking your accounts, or it could be cyber bullying, social media, stalking, even doing all kind of nasty things on social media, in addition to, of course, siphoning people's accounts and emails and the personal details, etc. So the nature of crime is going to change in next 20-25 years, and as a result, since the nature of crime is going to change, the policing has to change. Now, the traditional policing cannot be compromised, because common man in India is quite used to seeing policemen on the roads. So if police is totally, that doesn't happen in Singapore or many advanced countries, because
police have to be there for us to behave.
Yeah. There is a high degree of surveillance, electronic surveillance. Technologically, they are very advanced. But here in our country, even if you have technology, people expect police to be on the roads. But more and more policemen will have to become tech savvy. More and more technology will have to be leveraged, and as a result, more and more people will have to be deployed behind the computers than being on the roads. So nature of policing, type of training what we do, the type of induction which we do, the expectations from police is all going to change in next 30-40 years.
How do you prepare for that? Because when you say the policemen have to be much more tech savvy and be able to detect and go after these criminals, is the government changing the rules for recruitment? Is there a necessity for higher educated people to come into the police force? The ordinary constable comes from the same society that everybody else does, so he doesn't actually prepare for this. So is that the nature of recruitment itself going to change? Is the nature of training going to change?
Well, yes and no, because even when the rules have not been changed, like for example, take today's scenario. Today's scenario, if you want to join as a cop, you are say 12th class pass, that is the expectation. But the reality is that when we advertise for about 4,000 people, we get 4 lakh application. Majority of them are graduates, some of them are engineering graduate. Now that's a poor reflection of our education system in the country, but the fact is that highly technically qualified, tech savvy people are already entering the service, even though that is not the requirement. They are entering. Today when we have a new batch of constable joining, 70-80% of them are already computer aware of computer operations and all. But the issue is bigger. It's not merely our induction and our training which has to change and which is changing. It is also about how people deal with them, how people perceive them. The common man's perception of policemen being a lathi wielding, uneducated, who talks loudly, who argues with people and who stops them unnecessarily, that's everyone feels, or who obstructs them unnecessarily, or who spoils their party when they are enjoying, that perception has to change, because actually what policeman would be doing probably is doing his duty, whether that is pleasant or unpleasant. When a policeman flags somebody down for breaking the signal, now somebody may say, why he is flagging up, who is he to decide what I have done wrong or right. So and then it becomes verbal duels and sometimes even fist fighting and all those things. The point is, it's not only training and induction alone, it's the attitude of society towards a policeman. I must tell you that the more policemen, not only are tech savvy, more policemen are behind the walls doing whole lot of work, which is not seen by the common man. Common man only sees them who are standing on the roads or in a VIP.
Can you tell us a little bit about this? The kind of work that goes on behind the scenes that we don't see.
That's right. So we are about 1 lakh strong force in Karnataka, 1 lakh policemen, and I would say as high as 30 to 40,000 are involved either doing scientific investigations where people are sitting behind the computers, they are scanning the social media, because a lot of crime is happening on the social media space. A lot of people, a lot of policemen are involved in the scientific investigation, DNA analysis, cyber forensic and all those things. And like today the technology is involved in every crime, and lot of detection, I would say 90% of the detection happens courtesy technology. So a lot of policemen who are not seen by common men are contributing to making the society safe, but they are not the one whom we and you interact day to day. So the perception about police force, that a semi-literate police force, lathi-wielding policeman, has to change. One, I always say citizens will get respect if they respect them. It's a mutual feeling. It cannot be a one-way traffic. So combination of all these things will prepare the police force to take the challenges in the future.
Well, when you say it's a 1 lakh strong police force, is that enough for a burgeoning city like Bangalore, both in terms of geography and the population, or are you looking to add more manpower to it, or is the way ahead actually going to technology? You know, one of the audience had a question on whether drones can manage traffic. But as you said, we are always used to seeing a policeman on the road, right? So, is expanding the manpower the way ahead, and how do you do that? Or, what would be enough? Whether technology can manage the.
So my answer is yes and no. Of course, if you ask me the question whether we are adequate, no, we are not adequate. We need more policemen in the force, but the other side of the story is that we cannot keep adding policemen infinitely, and it becomes it gives a diminishing returns after a stage. So in long run we have to leverage technology, because what 10 policemen can do can be done by technology, or 1 policeman using technology. So we have to leverage technologies in a very, very big way, and Karnataka police is in the right place to do that, because as I said, even at induction stage they are highly computer savvy, highly tech savvy. So that's what we are doing, lot of infusion of technology, whether that is in computers or in surveillance, in drones. Drones are being used extensively by police force in managing law and order, because we can get a bird's eye view from using drones, which what we require 500 people on the street to manage, 2 or 3 drones can cover that area with 10 people seeing it on the screen. So policemen in future would be more required to react to the situation, but the detection of the situation will be more done by technology. So we are doing that in a big way. Of course we need more policemen, but we need more technically qualified and well equipped, well paid, well looked after, well motivated policemen than the numbers.
Right. Is there also a research wing in the police that looks at social trends, societal trends, economic trends, security trends, and all these things, and technological trends? that then makes recommendations, and then you go ahead and sort of act on those recommendations. Is there a research wing within?
Yes, there is a research wing and very active. We call it Bureau of Police Research and Development. It is based in Delhi and has units in many states including Karnataka. So, because the crime, they keep a watch on whatever is happening in entire country, because the nature of crime also changes. The nature of crime in Bangalore is different from nature of crime in say Patna or Ranchi or Kolkata or Guwahati. So, they keep a very close eye on the crime trends, whether in the physical space or virtual space, and keep devising policies, keep interacting on regular basis and give inputs to all the police forces, and we get benefited by that to great extent.
Okay, that's great. I didn't know about this Bureau of Police Research. So just one last question, bringing you back from the high technology of cyber crimes to something that Bangalore has seen, for a number of years. I don't know whether that is still a big problem. All these local rowdies and dadas and stuff, and then there is the big gang wars. Of course, the police has dealt very well with the big gang wars in the 80s. But is this local level problem still a problem for a city like Bangalore, or is that something that you can ignore?
No, we can't ignore it. Of course, there are no gang wars and there is no underworld in Bangalore city as it was in 1980s. And of course, police dealt with it very hard, in a very tough manner. But I won't take the whole credit. I would be very honest in saying that lot of that crime has gone underground to the virtual mode. So, a lot of things now, as I said, physical crime has a high risk now. Virtual crime is a very low risk, because one can do it even sitting in a different continent and get away with all the formalities of international cooperation and all those things. But yes, street level crime will always be a challenge for police force. It is a challenge, and that needs to be handled on day-to-day basis, supported by technology, whether it is CCTV or drones and all. But for that, we always have to be present in the physical space, and that will continue. Of course, the long-term solution for that is that the people who are being arrested and being charge sheeted do get convicted fast. Now, as we all know that the justice delayed is justice denied. So, probably there is a need to do much more for improving the criminal justice system. And when I am saying criminal justice system, it is not only police and the courts, but the prosecutors and prisons. To improve it so that people get punished faster, people are segregated from the society, those who have committed wrong things, and incarcerated in the prisons. But then lot of reforms are required in prisons also, because we send the people in the prisons to get reformed. And sometimes people go to prisons and become even hardened criminal. So, as I said, the whole criminal justice system needs a lot of improvement, whether it is police or prison or judiciary. Judiciary largely in terms of delivering the justice faster, police largely in terms of doing investigations faster, and prison in mostly to be welfare oriented and to improve people, those who come down. When they come out, they should be a better person, to do that kind of reformist, correctional kind of services.
Since that question came up, I'll ask you one last question. How much of involvement of politics is there in this, sort of street level, local level sort of thing? And how much of, what would you expect from the legislature in terms of this reformative justice system?
Well, see, in a democracy, politics would always be there. Politics is there in every part of life.
But is that, old nexus between local crime and politics?
No. We don't see a large scale. It can be a nexus at a very low level. Street level crimes have nexus at the low level people. Now, it's very difficult to define today that who is in politics and who is not in politics. All of us, even common people, have such strong views about everything. Sometimes we feel, are we a part of politics ourselves? So, it's very difficult to define, but yes, the low level nexus will always be there. Sometimes they'll be vested interest, but it is being dealt, and the only thing what governments can do is to make laws, not only make laws tougher. The easiest part is to make tough laws, but the toughest part is to create mechanism to enforce and implement those tough laws. So in fact, in last 7 decades, we have toughened the laws every year, but probably we have failed to create systems and mechanism which can enforce those tough laws and yield the results.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you.